Like, I appreciate you giving back, but the real key principles of what we were talking about yesterday, and I'm going to reiterate these things. I need to reiterate them as much as possible, is that what they also taught is that the real blessing is giving back and no one knows about it. Because the one who does know about it is God. So those are even stronger blessings, like when you could give back and no one knows about it. Energetic, we're going to call it energetic parasites. Energetic parasites, they feed off of anxiety. And the anxiety usually comes from scarcity, of not having. It's not enough. Those are energetic parasites. We all have energetic parasites that try to get in our way. And it comes from scarcity. It comes from the lack of. We always say in art, trust the process. We always say trust the process when it comes to art, right? But it even goes deeper than that, because you have to trust the process when you give and forget. You have to be willing to give and forget. And that's trusting the process. Like we were saying yesterday, Rolex, the company, they gave away all profit. And some people say, oh, well, it's for tax reasons. It's not for tax reasons. Anonymous giving versus public giving. The energy circuit closes versus when it stays open. They understand this. These are old teachings from centuries that are passed down. There's a thing called the flow factor, and the flow factor is obsessing over outcome, but that blocks your flow. You can't obsess over outcome. That's why I always talk about in our community where you can't control the market. A lot of these things that I say, they may sound simple or it's related towards just eBay, but a lot of it is reverted towards art in general. These are things that I've learned about life. But also, when from doing so much art and doing so much life, I see that they went hand in hand and they coincide with each other. You can't obsess over the outcome, or you're going to block your flow, and then the energy parasites are going to feed off of that. You have to give and forget. Yesterday, I talked about how the ultra rich, they use sacrifices, but they use sacrifices such as they'll go to a ranch, a farm, they'll go to a butcher, and then they get together and they sacrifice either goats or cattle. They do things like that, and then there are blessings that come back. But the thing is, some of those could be based off of also those are old as the beginning as man. Those are dark rituals. And you could use light rituals instead. You could think about things in your life that you could sacrifice, that you have to give back without, having to feed a deity of sacrifice of life. You could do things in your life. What I do is, like, I'll sacrifice I'll sacrifice so many art paintings that I don't think about, and then that also gives back. I'll sacrifice time. Um, I'll sacrifice things that I feel like either there's a chapter in my life where things that either served its purpose or is part of the season, and I'll get rid of those things completely. But you have to sacrifice things. These are the things that give back as well. That's why when people always say, "Oh, the billionaires, the whatever, they're part of a secret society and they do dark stuff." Yeah, they do, but they also don't look at it that way, and they're right, because a lot of these things were actually practiced within the Egyptians, but then they got hijacked and they started using some of this knowledge for dark reasons, and then all of a sudden it became that this knowledge is dark knowledge when it's not, and there's ways that you could turn it into light. There's a thing called cursed money versus clean money. And entities create synchronicities. I'm just going to go a little bit lighter in some parts of her face, because you can see where I already put like the flesh tone. That's already most of the canvas right now. So that means like when I did the flesh tone, that's most of the canvas right now, I don't have to go into the canvas and do too much. I don't have to do too much later on. Like, it's pretty simple from here. Like, only thing I have to do now is just like certain layers. This is what makes painting with the projector so easy and so beautiful, is that we get to see the layers already, and I could paint over the layers. You see? Like, I could paint over the layers without compromising the parts. See, anybody else who would do this, they would try to like be too pretty, because they would either use a line or they would have to go, no, I don't want to paint over that. Like with the projector, we don't have to worry about what we're painting over, per se. Let's see here. Says I've been deep diving into the Kabbalah, and it says the same thing about the channels of blessing. You restrict your blessings when you close off your giving. Exactly. Usually it's broke people who be like, they want to hold on to it and they feel like they could make more money by holding on to it, but you can't. You have to give it away. And these are things that are really simple teachings, but just think about it. They don't teach this to society. They don't teach it. And a lot of this stuff is biblical, actually, of what I'm talking about, but we hear it all the time, and we've heard it as children, but we don't think anything about it. You know, it just goes in one ear and out the other. We don't really sincerely think about the blessings and the lessons of it. A lot of these blessings or these teachings are biblical. Give and you will receive. I think it was Matthew chapter 6. The left hand shouldn't know what the right hand is doing, and then you will receive, you will get the blessings. There's always a balance. That's why there's a yin and there's a yang. The universe must balance the energy. Just like we can't explain what gravity is, there's universal laws that we can't explain either. It's what we were talking about yesterday. Now, another big thing that I talk about, and I know you hear me talk about it, but this is a very big one, and a lot of people can't practice it. And it's the power of silence. Now, I say it from a standpoint at times where it's like we're talking about friends, family, coworkers, or even like you can do. That's why I say it's so powerful that you can do eBay and you can be successful without anybody knowing about it. You don't need social media. I didn't use social media when I sold 17,000 paintings. I didn't use it at all. The more that I was using social media, the more broke that I was. But I looked good on paper. The power of silence. Talking about your goal, it kills them. It's a dopamine hit. And your brain can't understand the difference between you actually accomplishing your goals and you doing the goal. So your brain is just naturally going to reward itself. You're going to reward yourself because you talked about it. And you're going to have people in your family. What are they supposed to say? You're going to have some people who are like in your face. Wow, that's great news. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's awesome, Mom. That's awesome, Dad. That's great. What are they supposed to say? And then by you talking about it like that, your brain, and it doesn't matter what you tell yourself consciously, subconsciously, you can't fight that. Your brain is more powerful than you. Your brain is going to already think, well, you already received the rewards from your family, your friends. They just praised your goal of whatever you're going to do. And it doesn't understand the difference between you actually now having to show up to work. Now there's more pressure on you to work. And your brain is going to be like, what's the point? I've already received the dopamine hit from people praising me. There's two different types of people out there. There's people who think that you can. There's two different types of people out there. There's people out there who think that you can just work, and that's it. Just work, and then you'll be successful, and they're wrong. And then there's people out there who also think that, only thing I got to do is give affirmations to a mirror, and I could just manifest on it, and it'll come to me, and they're wrong as well. There's a balance that you have to find, but when you talk about it, your brain is not going to want to commit to the work at hand. I've been there plenty of times. And a lot of times it's weird too, because if you've been in these situations before, you could swear that it's like, you could feel that it's universal. You'll be like, for some reason, this feels universal, like the universe is up against me all of a sudden. Like I was doing good. How come I was doing good until I told this person? How come my plan was good? How come my business was doing better? Or things were going good until I told my mom about my business, or I told my wife about something, or my coworker. How come all of a sudden? And the thing is, people who smile in your face, or people who whatever, they don't even have to. Even the people who smile in your face, or who don't, or they don't even have to say anything to you. The universal energy that they even put out there behind your back can affect your business, can affect you. And it's even deeper too on a conscious level, where I would tell people, at times with humans that sometimes it's not when you do become successful in the thing and you haven't told them, and then you finally tell them, they're not mad that you didn't tell them. They're mad because you didn't give them enough ample time to affect your energy on the success, and them having an effect on the success rate. They understand consciously that they could have had a role in you not believing in yourself, or your business not taking off the way that it should. So be careful how you talk about the goals, because the universe is listening. There's universal laws when it comes to that. One of my favorite things that I've learned as a young man, and I told this story before, because For me, I didn't understand. I was light years away from understanding the universal laws of money and any of this stuff. I'm a broke young man, but I knew when I heard this, I was watching a documentary. I knew it made sense to me. And this was of I was watching a music documentary of Muddy Waters, and he's like a blues singer for those who don't know. But he would say that he learned in his success, for him to become successful, he said there would be at times where he wanted to tell his wife something. He would want to tell his brother something, his sister something. And he said he learned that in time not to say anything, and then that's how he got his blessings. So he said he formed a habit where he would tap his lips. He said he would always tap his lips, and people would wonder why he tapped his lips. And he said the reason that he tapped his lips because he always had good news to say. He always wanted to say what's going on, but then he learned from universal law to tap his lips to keep it in, to not say it. Because once you say it, it doesn't happen. So when we're talking about that, we're also talking about it's human nature, right? Like I said, a lot of these things are biblical. So what's also biblical is that envy, jealousy, hate. How many times has a human said to you in front of you that, hey, you know what? I'm a hater. I'm so jealous. Oh, I'm just filled with envy. How many times has somebody actually said that, been honest and said that? What, a few times in your life? A very small percentage, you know? But these things are inside of all of us. It's inside of me. I want to be successful. I want to be more successful than the next person. I'm honest about it. I've always felt like that. I hate it about me. But whatever, it is what it is. We have to know that these energies are inside of us. But that way also, we have to be careful in how we speak to around other people with our success and with our goals. And it's not like these people don't love us. It's just that they're naturally human. And when you're human, we're born into sin, so we are sinners, and we have these thoughts of sin. So it's just natural where the energy of jealousy can also affect your business. It could also affect you. It's not that you don't want to tell these people great things that are happening. That's just being selfish of them, I think. That's how I look at it. You're being selfish. If someone cares that I didn't tell them whatever the success thing is first, you don't care about my success then. You're being selfish. You're making it about you, and it's not about you. It's about you, and it's hard to explain that. And you know what? That's the thing that sucks too. If you come from generational curses or generational broken people, and not even financial broken people. When we talk about broke people, we always talk about mindset. But when you come from that, or I mean, most people have people like, we all have people like that that's in our family, and it's hard to explain to them. Well, it's not about that. It's about the universal. Like try to say this to people like that, right? Like your family or somebody, where it's like it's not even about you. It's about universal laws of success. Is why I didn't tell you. You think they would listen to you on that? You think they would understand what you're talking about? Hell no. And then you say stuff like that, they're really going to make it, they're really going to be selfish and make it more about them again. And then in your mind, you'll be like, see, this is why I didn't say anything. This is exactly why I didn't say anything. Different things work for different people, and I'll never believe that humans are sinners. Well, it says so in the Bible that we are born into sin, right? I believe that we're all good people, but we're not sinners. Okay. I mean, what are the commandments? We sin every single day. We sin, and we also ask God to forgive us for our sins. That's why God's love is unconditional. I mean, we're perfect people? No, we're not. I didn't say that we're murderers. But the thing is, what I believe is that we're all capable of murder, though. You have to acknowledge these things. Once humans stop acknowledge, once this is the universal laws as well too. Once humans stop, this is a good topic actually, Jaded Hunter. Once humans stop acknowledging that we're capable of murder, we're capable of sin, then what happens is you end up being full of sin. And that's another part that's also in the universal lessons, is that once you start acting like you're not materialistic or that you don't have these things in you, what happens is repression. So then what happens is you actually suppress these things, and then what happens is they shoot up. You have to acknowledge the energy, that there's a positive and a negative. It's not just all positive. There's no way. What's a sunny day if what's a sunny day if there's not a rainy day? We have these things inside of us, and as long as you acknowledge that, then you can be the best person that you can be. I wouldn't, me personally, on a business level or anything, or a relationship, I wouldn't trust anybody who would be like, I'm perfect all the time. Those are the worst type of people. That means that when no one's looking, you kill people, or you're a real full-time sinner then when no one's looking. I'm perfect all the time. We're human. No, we're not. And the lesson that I'm saying right now, this is part of the universal laws. This is all part of the subject matter of what we're talking about today. Well, I never said that either. I just don't believe that people are born bad. I didn't say that we are born bad. I'm reverting to what the Bible is saying, and which is true, that we all are born into sin. We're all sinners. We're all born into sin. But this is I don't want to get too caught up into theology either, and because those are different topics, and that's just based off of faith. And your faith is your personal journey. And there is no right or wrong, just like when it comes to art. There's no right or wrong when it comes to that. That's your personal journey. And I wouldn't be somebody who would be pompous enough to stand on a soapbox, as Socrates would say, and preach my faith. Because then I'm not right. I'm wrong. So you're not wrong either. But jealousy, envy, hate, these are the things that are inside humans. We know this. If we lived enough life, which we have, we know these things are inside humans, right? And we also know that these things are also inside of the best people that we know, right? I mean, these things are called sin inside the Bible. And we have to be careful of what we say around people, because these things are naturally inside of people and they could affect your energy. If you're going to go throughout life, I'm going to tell you one thing. If you're going to go throughout life thinking that you're going to be telling people your success, or telling people your goals, or telling people your thing, and sharing your energy, believing that everybody is great people, then you're not going to be successful in the world. And that just sucks. I mean, unfortunate. I wish that it was, but it's not. And you have to also acknowledge that, most people, most people are full of sin. I mean, look at the world that we live in right now. Let's see here. Jada Hunter says, I guess I quite don't understand what you mean by being born into sin. Well, that's why babies are baptized, because you're being born into sin. So they want to baptize them as soon as you're born into this world of sin. Not saying right or wrong. I'm just going off of what's written off of theology, okay? I mean, but everybody knows this. Even if you're not a Christian, people know that's you're baptized when you're a baby, because the book says that you're being born into the world of sin. That this is the devil's realm. Hold on, quick break. This is important. I want to let you know that you were already an artist, you were already a creator, and you were already a phenomenal person. You don't have to be tech savvy. You don't have to have social media following, an email list, or any outdated ways that they say that you have to sell art. Everything is already mapped out for you on eBay, where they already have the market there for you. I've sold over 17,000 paintings on eBay, and I did it by being a ghost. I wasn't on social media. I didn't use it to market. I didn't do any of that stuff. I just focused on being on eBay. And you can too from the comfort of your home. You don't have to go to art fairs. You don't have to try to get new networking or anything like that. Everything is mapped out for you. So, like I said, you don't have to be tech savvy. I have a system where you could copy and paste all the things in there. I have videos of how you can set up your account. I have everything there for you so that way you could get started. You get started with a 14-day sales activity challenge. That way you could get your first sales and then you could get your first transactions. You're going to have your first sales by the time that you're done with the 14-day sales activity. But the best part is that you're not alone. You're going to be having a supportive community that's going to be there along with you. Other courses, they just have where you're going through it alone and you're just trying to figure it out. But here, you're always going to have a full supportive community of people who already succeeded, who already gone through the steps and will help you along the way. And you can ask any questions. And we also have a weekly Q&A call where you can ask me any questions. All right. So you have nothing to lose. Look, everything in the world has gone up in pricing. So give yourself a chance right now where you can make some additional income for yourself, for your family, and see what you want to do. All right, click the link below and I'm going to see you. He says, he said, this is why Elon misses his deadlines. He sets them and then he talks it up and then it doesn't happen. That's why. And that's a good one. That's a good example. Exactly. That's a great way to explain that. Yes, yes, blessed artist. Sin is merely an energetic state of self-service. I love that. That's perfect. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So what I used to always say is that work in silence. If you're going to buy it, if you're going to tell people that you're going to buy a new car, right? Like pull up with the car. Don't say that you're going to keep getting this car. Tomorrow's going to do this and it's going to do that. Just pull up with the car. There's nothing wrong with eventually telling people about the success, but let the success speak for itself. And, or in other words, with, Tenzi Shiku says is that like Elon never hits his deadlines because he always talks about it. Exactly. I want my flying car. He said that we were supposed to see a flying car at the end of 2025 and it never happened. And that's because he talked about it. If he didn't say anything about it, then we would have just been surprised when he showed up with the flying car. That's how I look at life. There's nothing wrong with eventually telling people and showing people the success because that's what it's all about sharing the success as well too. But pull up with the car. Don't talk about the car. Mr. Chavez says, born into sin because we're not perfect. Exactly, we're not perfect. And that's the thing too about the universal laws is just understanding that we're not perfect. And once you understand that, then you can leave your ego out of certain things. You can understand that God's love is unconditional, that the work is already there, the art is already there, everything is already there, it's supposed to be. We're not perfect. But once you acknowledge that, like you ever meet a neighbor, right? You ever meet a neighbor or you ever meet somebody and there's just something, you're like, something about him throws me off. And the thing that throws you off about them is because they try to act like they act too perfect, right? We all know what we're talking about, right? Where it's like someone tries to be like, we always make a joke and be like, that's the type of person that they probably chop up people in their basement. They probably got like someone locked up or something because they're like hey, Mr. Neighbor, everything is so perfect and everything is great. And it's like, no one is all like, do you have a nervous system? You can't always be perfect all the time. I don't like people like that because art's not even perfect. Like I said, I'll show up and I'll try to do 100 paintings, so hopefully I like one of them. That means that I'm okay. I'm understanding the energy. But if I try to be like, well, everything is perfect all the time, I just, those people just give me the ick. Let the results speak for itself. And it's okay for us to simplify the journey as well too. Have you ever seen people who are successful, but yet they don't work as hard as you? And you're like, why? Because a lot of times they understand, or they were taught, the universal law of simplicity. Not everything has to be so complex and difficult. I always say that like, I always say my God doesn't want me to be working that hard. A lot of times things are simple and then we don't know it either because we're taught from society that everything has to be like complex. That's why some people who don't understand it either, and maybe they went to art school, or they were trained classically or traditionally how to do art, and they were taught that you have to do it this complex way. It's very hard to them to understand how we create art because they're like, well, it has to be 100 hours on the polar bear hairs. How could you do it so quickly? Everything has to be complicated. People actually feel like in order for you to make $1 million, it has to be complicated. It has to be hard. It has to be. And that's not true either. You have to figure out how to work smarter and have simplicity. Tenzuku says, yes, I had a coworker with overly friendly vibes. I told him he was fake to his face. A month later, he was in jail for domestic abuse. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I didn't even want to give examples, right? But we all know like I don't want to give examples, right? Yeah. That's just like I don't yeah. I exactly. I don't you can have people who studied forever and they're in the Vatican, but then we hear about the crimes that happen there, right? I'm not saying all, we know it happens, but the ones that try to suppress and act like you're not human, we are human. And these, I'm going off. I'm not really. I'm like I said, I don't know how gravity works. I don't know how electricity works. But these are things that I've learned of universal law. I'm teaching you the universal laws. You know, don't personalize it too much. If you personalize it too much, then that's fine. Then you're losing focus of these are the things that universal laws of wealth. There's a lot of people out there. Like, have you ever met people out there who they're, I say there's certain people out there who are dangerous because they think that they think that everybody's good people and they're a bad judge of character. So if you're around some people like that, you'd be like, you know, if there was a bad situation or if there was a zombie apocalypse, right? They'd be the type of people to be like, no, let's help them. They need help over there. And then they welcome them in, right, with the food, and then they get killed and all this stuff. And it's like, you're a bad judge of character on knowing who are the suspect ones. These are universal laws of wealth. So success doesn't have to be hard. Belief in difficulty creates self-sabotage. A lot of times we self-sabotage ourselves because we believe that things have to be so difficult. We believe that there has to be more to it. How can someone, I used to do this to myself. How can someone want my artwork? I didn't spend that much time into it. I only spent 10 minutes into it. That doesn't make sense. Then I would self-sabotage myself. Self-consciously. We do this all the time. We do this with so many different things in our life. Belief in difficulty, it creates self-sabotage. Stop believing that things have to be so hard and so difficult for you in your life. It doesn't. God does not want everything in your life to be so difficult. "717 Best says the universe responds to energy. That's why you see bad people wealthy and good people poor. If you feel abundant, you'll get the riches, not because you're good or bad." Exactly. Exactly. And we have to get out of that mindset, but these are the type of mindsets that a lot of us are taught. And it's just so bad because it's easy for us, because then what happens consciously or self-consciously is that we sabotage ourselves and believe that we have to either make things more difficult, so we need to do more, we need to study more, we need to do 100 hours of the polar bear hairs, we need to do more, we need to go to school for 20 more years, we need to do, or we say to ourselves that really self-sabotages ourselves. Well, I'm poor, so I'm a good person though. I get to go to heaven and they get to go to hell. Their karma is going to happen to them. No, it's not. No, it's not. The only thing that's going to happen is you're going to be broke, because you're thinking that money somehow equals, or the people that have, who might just understand universal laws of power and wealth, that they're all bad people and I'm a good person because I work really hard at the steel plant, and I build bricks with my hands. But they're bad people. How dare them have it easy? They have it easy because they understand the universal laws of where the flow comes to them. It's an energy flow. And they're laughing at you because you don't understand it. And you're thinking that, well, as long as I just work harder and clock in, they're going to get their karma. They're going to get theirs. Hey, Jin. Some achieve effortlessly what takes others decades. So we need to stop glorifying struggle. Like, we have to stop glorifying struggle. That's a part of the good book as well, of the secret knowledge of wealth. Stop glorifying struggle. Someone asked me, like, for example, you see, I don't glorify struggle, and I'm very transparent with you. There's other people whose hustle is that they paint 100,000 hours of the panda bear hairs. And maybe they don't even. And I know a lot of these artists, they actually don't. They have tricks around how they do it, but it's better for them to glorify the pain and the struggle. And I've had to do this. Before I went to the studio, I didn't have no shoes on, and I walked 100 miles on bare glass in the snow to get to the studio. I didn't have an art store, so I grinded up the pigment dust off of the dirt that I collected when I walked to the studio 100 miles, and then I painted that. Instead, I'm like, how long did something take you? It took me 10, 12 minutes. And Picasso had the same notion, right? Where the old story is that the woman came to his table or whatever, right? And then she's like, hey, can you paint me something or draw me something? He drew something on a napkin and he said to her that it's going to be $30,000. And she's like, what? But you only took 5 minutes to do it. He says, yeah, but it took me a lifetime to learn how to do it. So you're right in what you're saying, Tulio, where it's about the mastery as well. And that's the mindset as well too, to have the confidence of what you're saying, is that you can also put it in your mind already that you're a master at what you do, and that great things come to you with ease. It comes to you with ease. Things will start coming to you with ease in whatever you're doing, in the mastery of whatever you're doing. Once you start flowing and you start saying that it comes to you with ease, things come to you with ease. Money comes to you with ease. Success comes to you with ease. Once you start behaving that way and believing in it, then it comes to you. Things will come naturally easy for you. But if you always put this energy on you that everything has to be difficult, sales have to be difficult, I'm just waiting, then you're going to keep waiting, and then things are going to be more difficult. Tulio says, I think we shouldn't confuse something difficult with mastery. Mastery is highly valued because it doesn't happen overnight. When a master creates a work, it can happen in a matter of minutes, or it cannot. This is the thing. When the energy is so powerful, all things that are impossible are possible with God. So it's like, or not too. So the mastery is that I can maybe take a banana and I could duct tape it up against the wall, and then the energy flows to me that way. It flows different ways. And I can't say that person's not a master either, because me personally, I believe even if you spent the years of doing something, or if you didn't spend the years of doing something, I believe that all humans are masters, right? Because we're masters within our own energy, within our own selves, and we can have it flow whichever way. So it just depends on the form of mastery of what you're saying, as if it's technique, or if it's skill sets, or if it's something that's aesthetically pleasing of mastery. There's different forms. Or I could be a mastery of energy and just sit on the couch and do nothing, but yet it comes to me. All right, let me start punching this in with the black, and I could be done. Now, another important part is you have to start witnessing your goals. And I mean, we talk about this all the time as well too, where you have to be a, what do we say? You have to be a time walker, is what I say. And I really believe in that. That's a great form of how to make things happen, how to have the universal laws of energy come back to you, is you have to be a time walker. And to be a time walker, you have to close your eyes and you have to visualize yourself. That's why when they ask professional athletes, they would always say, I visualize myself winning the Super Bowl. I visualize myself winning the fight. And it's not even really about visualizing it as more as it is about the feeling. So a lot of times people we want to be successful, or we want whatever the goal is, and it's not so about the material or things. Usually it's about the feeling that we would have of our family hugging us, or someone being proud of us, or we pull up with the car or whatever, and the feeling of your family, or the feeling of people being proud of you, right? These are things that you need to go deeper on, not just about the material part. Go more into the feeling, of what it is that you want to feel in the moment, right? Like, okay, you win the lottery, right? Is it really more so about the monetary, the fiat? The fiat is just a construct. So it's not just about that, it's about the feeling that you have after it. It's the feeling that people, how do other people perceive you, or whatever it is. Whatever that feeling is that you're looking for, or that you want to go for, if you go deeper into it, give yourself permission to feel that today, regardless. So that way you don't have to wait for the lottery to come. You don't have to wait for that moment. You don't have to wait for that feeling. You have permission to feel that today. Think of it that way. And then that's how the universal blessings come. That's why people go, the rich stay rich and the broke stay broke. The broke stay broke because they're constantly manifesting broke feelings. They're constantly manifesting the scarcity of not having. They're always thinking of, I don't have, I don't have, I don't have. Your attention or your energy flows to the things that what you put attention towards. And a lot of times we put attention on the things that we don't have. I don't have sales. I don't have sales. I don't have sales. I don't have sales. What happens after a while? You're over there hypnotizing yourself and you don't even realize it. You're over there putting a trance on yourself of no sales and you don't even realize it because all your energy is going towards that. Has there ever been like a particular car that you wanted and you never even really seen that much of that car, right? Like until you wanted it. You haven't even really seen it. But then all of a sudden you look at it and you've been looking at pictures of it online, or you've been looking at the car. All of a sudden, what do you see when you start going outside? Come on, we know. All of a sudden you see that car everywhere because now your attention is on it. Energy comes to where your attention is at. These are things that are taught. These are things that are taught to the super rich of how the universal laws of money. Your focus needs to be where you want your success to be. And it goes back to what I was saying. Give yourself permission to feel. Give yourself permission to feel however you're going to feel in the moment of whatever you want of your success. It's not based upon the thing that you want to as much as the feeling. Whatever the feeling is, close your eyes, meditate on that for 5 minutes and feel what it would feel like. What is the feeling that you're looking for? What is the feeling that you want when you go into your job and you say to your coworker, I'm out of here. Like, I got this many sales. I make this amount of money. I was making this amount of money for 3 months. Now I got this amount saved up. What's that feeling? I always go off of the feeling. Whatever that feeling is, you can give yourself permission to feel like that today. Once you give yourself permission to feel like that today, you don't have to wait on this moment, because then you're always going to be waiting. The more that you wait for these moments and you give attention on waiting for this certain energy, this certain type of emotion to have, you're always going to be waiting for that emotion. And then you're giving yourself scarcity where you're not in abundance and you're waiting for this emotion. You're waiting. You're always going to be waiting. How many people right now? I know there's so many people who always feel like for some reason I'm anxious, and you're anxious because you always feel like I'm waiting for something to happen. I'm waiting for either good news. I'm waiting for a good sale. I'm waiting for whatever in the world to happen. I'm waiting for these outcomes of external things that you can't control, instead of what you can control is internal of the giving yourself permission to already feel these things, so you don't feel like you have to wait. And then when it does happen, you need to be where you're in such abundance in your mind. You already put yourself in a mindset where you're not going to be tripping off of it like you're going to be so excited And you're going to be like, because you already gave yourself permission to feel it. It's not a surprise to you. It's not a surprise to you because you already had it. You already had the emotion of it. You need to give yourself permission to feel like that you already won the lottery or whatever it is that people are proud of you, or you quit and your coworker. Give yourself permission to start feeling this way, and then it comes to you. That's why I said, like, you kind of have to be delusional. You have to be delusional first. The most successful people, when they teach this of wealth and they teach the energy, they teach that you have to be delusional. But you have to be delusional now, and that's how you control your reality, because your reality now, it's very short. Clocks weren't around for few hundred years. Before that, it was just a construct where everything was now. But you're over here waiting because you're based on things off of time. That was a deep one. I hope it hit. Thank you, Jen, for the super chat. I greatly appreciate you. Thank you. That really means a lot to me. Boom, mic drop. That was a good one too. Did you pick that? Were you able to pick that emoji over there? The emoji over there? That's awesome, because that was a mic drop that I just dropped right there. That was a good bar that I left for you guys right there. If you can understand what I was just saying, because that's the real form of energy and how you can make things happen for yourself. Jada Hunter says, yes, I've been seeing Suzuki Jennies all over the place. Exactly. But this is the crazy part, right? Jada Hunter's like, no one else is checking for Suzuki Jimmys because I haven't seen them. But now if I get online and if I look at Suzuki Jimmys, right, I'm going to start seeing them because I'm looking for it if my energy is placed towards that. So what you have to do, you have to start forming your energy into that. You need to start forming your energy, how to channel your energy into that, because with the same energy of what you put on to seeing that car, you can also project that energy into you can project that energy onto success and the things of life that you want to see. $7173 Best says rectangular activating system. Yes, I see Porsche everywhere. Exactly. That's awesome. And once this clicked for me, these are things that were taught from me. These are things that were taught from me from energy, successful people, wealth, secret society type stuff, okay? And I could teach you this stuff because I'm not initiated. So I won't be in trouble. Now, if I was initiated, I would be in trouble. I couldn't tell you this stuff. And the thing that's crazy about being initiated, which is on a tangent, and I'll leave it alone. What people don't understand, once you're initiated, they don't have to tap your phones. They don't have to have people that look and whatever. See, people always wonder how come conspiracies are conspiracies and how come people are such tight-lipped when they come to a group. The thing why is because how conspiracies work in the secret societies is that they have ways of channeling and seeing what you're up to or what you're saying by thought and by energy. So they don't have to tap your phones and all of that stuff. You know, that's like what broke people think. People don't even understand that. Like they've been doing this stuff for 100 years. They're able to do like telepathy. All right. They're able to, once you're initiated, they're able to actually see what you're saying. They're actually able to know what you're saying. All right, but that's a different topic. I won't go into that. So you have to witness your goals. Fake. I'm gonna put you on game, man. I'm about to, like, we're having such a good conversation today. You have, okay, I guess another way how you could say it is that you have to fake it till you make it. You know how many fake millionaires out there become real millionaires because they faked it? I don't have nothing. I don't have nothing against, or I'm not for someone like Andrew Tate or other people like that, right? In the manosphere. But like, these people were broke And the thing is, what made them a real millionaire or whatever is they would always say, I'm a billionaire, I'm a billionaire. No, you're not. No, you're not. And most people know it. But then after you say it for a while, it becomes it. This is the energy as well. If you keep saying things, you end up becoming it. You fake it till you make it. But there's other parts of the energy as well. I don't have anything for or against the gentleman, but one thing I've noticed on him is that he understands and he was taught a lot of the universal laws of wealth, power, and money. Yes, I'll start seeing a Elantra out for wheel drive. Anytime I mention people's names and I try to give an example, I just always try to give people names of example. But since we're on YouTube, I always have to give a disclaimer because you can't please everybody, and there's always going to be somebody out there who either likes or dislikes. And I'm always trying to stay neutral on those things. I never go into it. Just like when I talk about politics or whoever president, whatever, I always try to stay neutral. And because there's people out there who would be extreme on both sides to be like, oh yeah, you like that person? I'm going to find out where you live and I'm going to hunt you down. Please don't. I'm just giving examples. Brian Smith says, the first people, Adam and Eve, they sinned. This sin nature is passed down to all. That's what I believe too. I mean, that's what I thought. I mean, maybe I'm wrong about something. I was just going off of basic theology, really. And I wasn't even, the things that I'm going off of now, I'm not even saying the things of what I totally believe into my core of things. Just like I'm telling you that, like the super rich, they believe in order for the universal laws of money is that they do sacrifices. And I'm pretty sure it's to an extreme level where they're not sacrificing goats and animals, if you get what I'm saying. All right. That doesn't mean that I do it. The whole course of this right now is to give what is taught, and you can do with it what you want. I'm the messenger. Don't fight the messenger. What are you fighting the messenger for? I didn't write. Yeah, exactly. I didn't write the Bible. So I'm just going off of that. The first people, Adam and Eve, they sinned. So sin is the nature, is passed all the way down. That's what I thought. Man is sin. We're born into sin. That's what I thought too. Maybe I'm wrong, but whatever. Don't want to go back into that. Different subject. What we're saying is that you have to fake it till you make it. And a lot of that works as well too when it comes to success, when it comes to art, when it comes to anything that you're doing in business. You have to put a little bit more on, because we are all creators. And when I say that we're all creators, we're born into the image of the creator, which means that God is inside of us. We're also gods ourselves. Now, this is another thing that's taboo about to say, but these are things that are also taught inside the universal laws of wealth and power, is that we are all gods ourselves. And they know this power, they know this, but things have been kind of changed in the book, and then some people think it's taboo because we're supposed to think that we're just peasants, we're ants, and we're not equal to God. Jesus knew this as well. Jesus knew that he was the same as the Lord. It's inside of us. But some people, they get caught up and they go, no, we're not. We're just peasant ants. And once you start thinking that way, you'll never have power. And then people will live their whole life in slavery and thinking that their heaven is only due to them outside of this realm, when God wants you to have your heaven now as well. And these are the things that are really taught inside the universal laws of power and wealth, is that it's okay to have your heaven now. I love that. That's so true. AZ Lady says the Bible teaches that you will have what you say. Faith comes from hearing. Exactly. You know, broke people believe that they need to see prosperity first in order to believe. Wealthy people become wealthy because they're delusional and they don't need to see it first. They have faith in it. They have faith. Faith comes by hearing. These lessons I'm saying are actually biblical. Feel free. Yesterday I gave I gave a tip where I said that if you want to change your wealth and you want to change the universal laws very quickly and you want money to start gravitating towards you, I said feel free to start changing your environment, right? And a part of changing your environment as well is go to luxury places. You know, one of my mentors told me years ago, and I forgot this until right now, he would say that if you really want to be inspired, if you really want to feel like you're about to hustle, you're about to do something, he says, in whatever city that you're in, go downtown and go to the fanciest hotel and just sit in the lobby. He used to say this. I mean, it's a good analogy. Maybe everybody doesn't have a fancy hotel in whatever city or place they're at, but you understand the principle of what he's saying, right? Feel free to go house hunting and look at a mansion. Feel free to drive around and look at things that, you know, go to Beverly Hills and be around these people. Who says that you can't? Who says that you're not? A lot of times people don't even want to go to like certain stores, right? Even if you don't have $1 in your pocket. That's what the mentor said, that's important too. He says, go to these places without $1 in your pocket. Like, if you're broke, go to Beverly Hills and go to a store. A lot of times people don't even want to go to fancy stores, right? Because you feel like, I'm out of place. I'm a peasant. I'm this. You put this mentally in your mind. And then what happens is you already don't feel that you're adequate enough or that you can. Start making these things regular. Change your environment up. Even if you don't live there, start making it normal that even if you don't have $1 in your pocket to spend, go to an expensive store. Go to a Neiman Marcus. You know, go to an expensive store. Go into a Louis Vuitton a couple times. Even if you're not into these things, of course, right? But that's another lesson that I'm going to go on into as well too. That maybe that'd be a sidetrack. But even if you're not into these things, at least go there. Go to an expensive restaurant, or maybe not a restaurant because you would have to actually spend money. But go to an expensive hotel. Go to you know what? Hey, even if you don't have any money, go test drive that car that you really want. That's an expensive car. How many times have you gone out there and you test drove a car? And it's like it's your dream car. How do you feel when you test drive that car? In your mind, you're like, I'll figure it out. I'm going to figure out how to get this car. I want this car yesterday. I'm going to figure it out. Jada Hunter says, today is like having a conversation with my Nana about religion. She gets frustrated with me too. Oh, I don't want that at all, because that's not the point. That's not the point of this show at all. And I don't like discussing stuff like that, because none of us are either right or wrong until we die. So, you know, things like that is just your ego being involved, and faith is a personal thing. So anybody who takes it past that, that's more of a personal issue. Those are personal things. Faith is a personal thing. I'm not right or wrong. Faith is faith. Faith is your own thing. Socrates says that you could preach whatever you want, just don't stand on a soapbox and preach about it. Or you can say whatever you want, just don't stand on a soapbox and preach about it like you're right in whatever you're saying. That's like me, for example. I would dislike where people would get so passionate in their theology or their word of God or whatever they say it is, right? And I'm like, but if you really believe in that and your God is so powerful, why does he need little old you to be so defensive and emotional defending it? God doesn't need you to be defensive and emotional in defending it. That's your personal faith. You should be strong and confident in your own personal faith, where you don't need to stand on a soapbox and preach about it. Like, be confident enough. usually people who are so adamant enough to go back and forth and talk about those type of things, the same as politics as well too, those are usually people who are very insecure in what they're saying, and they don't have the knowledge based upon it, or they don't have the faith. I was always taught that knowledge is power. That way you're not in a standpoint of fear, because fear will come from anxiety of lack of knowledge. When you have knowledge, when you have knowledge and you know more than something, and somebody's like, but the TV told me this, and you look at them like they're dumb, like what? Like, because you already have knowledge of whatever it is, and then it comes out a year later, 2 years later, that you were actually right all along, and then they go, oh, how did you know that? Because I have knowledge. So I wasn't like fearful of my life, and I'm not fearful of whatever, because I always arm myself with knowledge. Let's see here. At my age, Jada Hunter, I'm not up for debate of anything. It's just like, whatever it is, if that's how people feel, that's how people feel. Conversations is one thing, debate is another thing, but we're doing a show right now. And, there's nothing to debate, because these are your own personal views. That's how you need to go about life as well too. Some things are just a waste of time. You'll get that way once you get older. I don't know if you're younger or older than me. One of the things I always said too in life, no matter what it is, whatever the viewpoint is, it's better not to get involved in any of that stuff anyways, because my faith is that God will get involved himself. The longer that you're not on something, you'll notice that more people are not going to be adamant about it and want to push back on it. Sometimes people are so adamant and stubborn about things, because that's human, just because they feel like you're for it or you're against it. And they'll be like, well, I'm going to show them and I'm going to be more of this. But then one day when they realize that you're not participating in their game, and you've matured and you don't even want to have a conversation or debate, then eventually what's going to go on, they're going to get tired of their echo chamber, and then they're going to have to look in the mirror one day, and then they're going to have a conversation with themselves or with God in that moment of whatever the truth is, the universal truth, or whatever it is. By that time, it doesn't matter. It's up to God. It's not up to me. Yeah, exactly. Yep. See, knee crunch knows what I'm talking about. I love doing these paintings, but the thing is, like, I should have been done with this ages ago. I could always just work this. But today's my Thursday. I get to do what I want. Like, I'm just having a conversation with you, giving information out. But yeah, knee crunch. You know what I'm talking about. And you can only learn that. You can only learn that through wisdom in life, just living long enough, that most things are a waste of time. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so get in the habit of start visiting luxury places, even if you don't have any money. We all been in situations. We always try to get ourselves, not, I'm broke, so I don't want to go to this expensive store. I'm broke, so I don't want to test drive your car. You only want to test drive the car when you think that you have the possibility of getting it. Test drive an expensive car. Hey, you know what, Zinzin? Go out there and test drive the Porsche. This is the thing. They can't say no to you of test driving the car. You can test drive the car. They don't know that you don't have it, but start putting yourself in the echelon of the mindset that you will. And I guarantee you'll be closer to getting that Porsche by you putting yourself in position to test drive it than you would by staying away from it. This is how energy works as well. You'll be more in a situation to put yourself in an echelon by being around wealthy people, by being in an expensive hotel, or going to just look at a mansion, um, you know, and putting yourself in the mindset. Well, a lot of times we're put in this mindset where it's bad to want expensive things. It's bad to want luxury. No, it's not. It's not bad. Like that's another thing. That's one of the lessons as well too, in the universal laws of wealth and power, is that it's not a bad thing to want material. It's not a bad thing to be materialistic, okay? You have to distance, you have to be distanced from victim mentality of friends. Like we have certain friends out there who have the victim mentality. I can't, I won't. I like we have to get away from that as well too. But I know it's so hard, especially, you know, us humans, we need we've been, you know, we don't want to be ostracized or we don't want to be looked at as black sheep. So it's not easy to tell people, hey, you know, get away from certain family and friends because their mindset is the victim mentality, or their mindset is where they don't want you to have. And then they'll come from it from a standpoint of, well, it's because of I love you. It takes a strong person to be successful and to make money. And a lot of it has to do with not about how hard you worked or how smart you are. It also has to do about your mindset and about using universal laws of wealth, where you are able to transfer it over to yourself. Because a lot of times it's not so much about the things that you add to your life. A lot of times it's about the things that you subtract from your life. And you should write that down. All right. I spent too much time on this one. Let's get on to the next one. Look at that. Isn't she beautiful? There she is right there. I love her. She's nice. She'll sell well. People will love it. People love to hang this up on their wall. It's a beautiful painting. Let me know what you think. If I can do it, you can do it. All right. Look, I mean, I did this freestyle pretty much. I wasn't thinking anything about it. And there we have it right there. That's the end of the video. Like I said, you don't have to be a traditional artist. You can do this for yourself. You can start making money as early as next week. You can have everything mapped out and set up for you. Click the link below. Join us in the eBay art community so you can do this for yourself. But if you're not interested, then that's fine too. Just leave me a like on this video. Let me know that you appreciate the art that we're creating and the cool stuff that we're talking about and that you're vibing with it. Hey, that means the world to me as well. All right, I'm going to check you out on the next video.